Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
I-10, Loop 1604, I-35, and now I-35 again. Construction on San Antonio's highway seems to be never ending.
So you can add this one now to the list. Today, TxDOT announcing it's starting yet another expansive $700 million project. It's adding elevated lanes along 4 miles of I-35 right where it coincides with Loop 410.
Our Garrett Berger is live there on site to tell us what's going on here and how long you can expect this to take. Hey, Garrett.
Myra, this latest portion is part of the I-35 Northeast expansion, or I-35 NEX. State officials say that $3 billion program is part of a plan to help deal with congestion in the state's big metro areas, including here in San Antonio, where more and more people are moving to these Texas cities. They're bringing their cars with them. Let's take a look from the drone on what it looks like from up top on I-35. Now, right now it's 6 o'clock. We're at the tail end of the worst part of rush hour. Along this particular stretch, just south of Walsham, it's not very congested at the moment, but things do tend to be worse in the morning, and you can see that there are plenty of cars still out here. The state wants to add lanes along I-35, but you'll notice that there's really not much room to either side, so they're looking up.
Here's what they mean. 3 elevated lanes in either direction, 2 main lanes and an HOV. All of them popped up between the existing highway and the access roads. The elevated lanes are central to most of the I-35 NEX program. The Central project has been going on for nearly 2 years now, running between 410 and Nacogdoches all the way up to the Schertz area. That's anticipated to be done in late 2027, while this new project, South Phase 1, is targeted for a late 2028 completion date. There are still 3 additional projects that are still in planning, South 2 and 3 and North. Still, the Texas Transportation Commission chairman says everything should be done sometime in 2028.
I don't mind going through the orange cones because I know that that's progress, and that's what I would say to Texans, that is, we're there, we're doing this to help alleviate the congestion. We're doing this for your benefit.
TxDOT may be trying to expand the lanes here, but be prepared to be squeezed first. Now, the TxDOT spokeswoman we talked to this afternoon didn't have a complete construction schedule, so we don't know exactly when everything's going to be getting a little bit tighter, but one thing we know for sure, there will be lane closures. Unfortunately, that seems to come with the territory. Live on the northeast side, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
What's I-35 without construction?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
right?
we even recognize it? Let's take a look at another construction spot here at a big interstate intersection, rather. We've got I-10 and 35. This is going out of downtown. This is along the lanes of I-10 where they are shutting things down to one lane for another construction project there. This is a look at that slowdown from Drone 12, West Popular Street to Fulton Avenue. TxDOT says the closure is going to be this way. It's going to be in place until the end of next month. So let's take a look at how it's affecting traffic right now.
Yikes.
This is a little bit closer into downtown. You can see it is very slow going as people make their way out of downtown on I-10. It's a beautiful day out there. Fantastic weather. Big payoff after yesterday, Adam.
Yeah, and it's good to get some sunshine after we get rain. Good to dry out a little bit and then get another round of storm chances coming in a couple of days. So that does exist, and we'll cross our fingers and hope for the best in terms of rain with that. Let's talk about the heat, though. We cranked it up a little bit. 101 Del Rio, 99 Laredo, the high temperature today. Even Carrizo Springs made it to 99, 94 officially here in San Antonio. And our current readings pretty close to that, but we'll be dropping off pretty quickly. 8 o'clock, mid-80s. By 10 o'clock, 79. Beautiful evening for the outdoor events or any sporting games or practices you have. Actually, temperatures near average to start the day tomorrow. Our next system, though, is in Southern California. That gets here in a few days. We'll talk about that and the severe weather potential in a bit.
All right, thanks, Adam. A man already serving 99 years for severely injuring his child is facing a second possible punishment. In this case, he's charged with capital murder of a child under the age of 10.
Yeah, Terrence Harper appeared in court today, and as Erica Hernandez reports, both cases are right now in a holding pattern.
In December 2022, a Bexar County jury found Terrence Harper guilty and sentenced him to 99 years in prison for severely beating his 4-month-old son in 2019. When that case was being investigated, it led police to reopen a 2012 child death case where an infant died that was allegedly in Harper's care. He was charged in that case with capital murder of a child under 10. 2 years later, and both cases are currently on hold after an appeal was filed concerning the injury to a child trial involving his own son.
The parties have submitted their briefs. We argued the case back in March, and we're anxiously awaiting an opinion from the court.
Defense attorney John Hunter says it's common for this process to take this long.
So it's up to the justices, and they can write the opinion at their leisure and however long they need to reach a correct result. We want them to take that time. Special
Prosecutor Daniel De La Garza was assigned the case after District Attorney Joe Gonzalez recused himself as he was Harper's attorney before he won election in 2018. De La Garza says that the appeals court decision will determine what he does next.
If the state wins, if we win, then we'll deal with the capital murder case. And if we lose, unfortunately, we'll have to come back and do this again. But I'm confident we'll win.
The next status hearing is scheduled for July. Now, if there is no opinion yet from the appeals court, it will remain on hold. But De La Garza is hopeful they will move forward in the capital murder case. Now, Harper, if he is found guilty of capital murder, would automatically be sentenced to life without parole. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Another news now, San Antonio police still trying to sort out the details regarding 5 children who they say were left to fend for themselves. Police say that a neighbor called them to an apartment near Eisenhower Road and Raybon Drive Sunday afternoon. He had told officers the children were filthy and that all of their food was kept locked in a room. Police later arrested their uncle, 52-year-old Shad Modset, who they say they found in the home asleep and unaware.
Like, he's watched my kids before, and I never had any issues like this, so that's why I felt it was comfortable to trust him.
Now, the mother of some of the children says that she had only been gone a few hours, but a police report says it appeared the children hadn't been bathed or eaten in days.
Tonight, a third person with ties to Congressman Henry Cuellar's bribery case has pleaded guilty. The unsealed plea agreement states that Irada Akundova pleaded guilty to unlawfully acting as an agent of the Azerbaijani government and a state-run oil company. According to that plea agreement, Akundova admitted to facilitating a $60,000 payment to Cuellar's wife, Imelda. Congressman Cuellar was accused of accepting nearly $600,000 in bribes from Azerbaijan and a Mexican bank. Both the congressman and his wife were indicted last month. Cuellar has denied all of the allegations.
It's going to take even more time for District 10 Councilman Mark White to learn his fate after a DWI case. You remember that police arrested White back on December 29th for DWI after pulling him over on Loop 410. A prosecutor with the Public Integrity and Cybercrime Unit told KSAT they're still gathering information and reviewing that case and have not yet officially charged White. So today's hearing was then reset to June 20th. Interesting here, there's been a spike in women finally realizing that they've been living with a mental health condition for their whole lives. We're talking about ADHD. Diagnoses for adult women with that condition doubled from 2020 to 2022.
A woman with ADHD and a therapist who diagnoses it helped Courtney Friedman learn how ADHD in women shows up differently and what they can do if they suspect they have it.
I was doing a ton of things to accommodate my own ADHD. I always have.
But Stephanie Scheller didn't realize that until 2015 when she was in her late 20s. The memory and attention issues became clear.
We need a lot more engagement than pretty much anyone else, visually, tactile, auditory.
She did research, conferred with doctors, and started a company that creates events for people with ADHD to help them live their lives to the fullest.
Ceiling height impacts your ability to focus. Lighting impacts your ability to focus. And scents impact your brain in all these different ways.
At her events, Scheller meets so many women who were also diagnosed later in life.
Women tend to present differently with ADHD, so we don't tend to get the same, like, oh, well, you can't sense that's still, so we don't get the diagnosis. The tests were not built for us. They were built for little boys.
That's something psychotherapist Lindsay McGehee sees all the time when diagnosing ADHD in women.
It brings with it sometimes a lot of depression and anxiety and social problems.
So it can lead to other mental health issues that may be disguised as something else.
That is one of the main symptoms is in adult females, the exhaustion, because they've been working so hard to fit in, to check all the boxes, to get everything done.
She says the diagnosis can be difficult to hear.
There is a sense of regret, like I wish I had known.
But it's almost always met with relief.
You're like, oh, I can go to the doctor, I can get medication, I can go to therapy, I can talk to other people who have it and feel like I'm not trying to fit in, I actually belong.
That's the type of community Scheller is creating.
Create a space where we could actually, one, start to normalize the stuff that we're all doing.
A community she hopes more women will join once they're tested and diagnosed, no matter how old they are. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Happening later this week, Doc Talk. We take your medical questions to local doctors to get answers. Scan this QR code to let us know what you want us to ask the doctor. Doc Talk airs every Thursday right here on the news at 6:30. In today's KSAT Explains, we are taking you back to class. And today's lesson, South Texas geography and how it affects our weather patterns. Meteorologist Justin Horns giving the grades.
Can you tell me what this is? What is that a shape of?
Is it a state or are we looking at a county?
It's a county.
Yeah.
Could you show me where the Edwards Plateau is? Edwards.
Justin Horn explains South Texas geography, and he does some myth busting too. KSAT Explains is coming up at 6:30.
All right, good stuff. We want you to stick around because after the break, you'll have a chance to do something wonderful for a child in need. We're talking about foster care. Right now, you can call a number and ask any questions that you have about that process. That's up next.
But first, let's take a quick look outside with live cam. Beautiful day today after that rain. Our next chance at storms, though, could be in the near future. Adam Caskey will have the timing and the potential coming up.
Welcome back. You know, there are so many children out there who need loving foster homes. Sometimes you hear some of these stories, you feel helpless, but here's the thing. There is something that you can do about it. You can call this number, SJRC Texas. The number is right here, 210-351-1363. We're going to keep it up here while we talk to you. Here's Adrian Quintanilla. He is a Senior Vice President of Operations at SJRC Texas. All right, so you have people basically answering the phones, answering any questions. Could you give us an overall idea of what the need is for foster children here in South Texas?
So what we're looking at is really for individuals that want to foster older children, usually between the ages of 12 to 17. Those are the areas that we're really looking at as far as the need, not to mention large sibling groups. And then, of course, you know, children that have been in the system long periods of time. How can we bring those needs to the forefront by giving them stability and find an individual that would really want to invest in them?
How many children are waiting for foster homes in our area?
We serve around 8 to 1,000 children on any given day. So in regards to their needs, some may be waiting for a foster home or some type of care in regards to, let's say they're in a kinship home and they're waiting to go into a foster home or vice versa. They may be in a foster home and we're working with the kinship home. So it just depends on the need of those youth. But what we normally see is those with the highest needs as far as behaviors and interventions that they may need therapeutically. Some of those are older youth.
Final question here. Some people might be watching this and think, I really want to help foster children, but I can't have a foster home myself. How can they help?
Well, this is one way of helping by donating, calling in. Not only that, they can volunteer. They can go to our website at sjrctexas.org and they can also put in their information and we'll get back with them and then we can see what kind of needs that they're able to help. Fostering means doing more than just being a foster parent. You can even help foster parents foster by being a respite parent for them. So there's just so many things one can do to really help our youth.
Just open your heart. All right.
Open your heart.
All right. Adrian Quintanilla, thank you so much for talking with us today. And I hope that people call again. That number, 210-351-1363. Myra?
Sure. All right, thank you, Stephania. Let's turn to the forecast now. Fantastic day out there. Lower humidity after yesterday, but we know the warmer temperatures are coming at them.
Oh, yeah, they are. It's that time of year. we start to crank it up a little bit. We made it into the 90s today, 94 the high here in town, and we're going to turn it up a little bit more in the days ahead. Let's get right to our temperature trend, and you'll see that 92 tomorrow, then we dip back into the mid-upper 80s by Thursday, Friday. However, this weekend and even early next week, we boost those temperatures again. We're talking 97 by Sunday, and there is the chance that we could be even warmer than that, and the potential, it's an off chance, but the potential we could have our first triple-digit day coming up this weekend or into early next week. Personally, I think we'll stay in the mid to upper 90s, but I just want to throw that out there. There's that potential. All right, take a look at the satellite imagery, the high-resolution satellite imagery. Texas here on the top part of your screen. You see this really hazy area in the central and southern Gulf of Mexico? That right there is the dust. Or I shouldn't say the dust, excuse me, the smoke that's in the air. It's not dust season yet. Smoke that's in the air from the agricultural burning in southern Mexico and Central America. And you see the computer model for it. It initializes very well, showing that smoke in the Gulf of Mexico. And as we get into tomorrow, here's our future cast. The winds shift a little bit. You're not going to notice it in the air. We'll have sunny skies, but you're not going to see that extra haze like we did last week for a few days. Remember that really thick haze? It's not going to be that bad, but notice by Thursday, much higher concentrations of that smoke back in the air due to that southerly flow out of southern Mexico and Central America. However, here's the caveat. We'll have a lot of clouds on Thursday and even into Friday, so you probably won't visually notice it all that significantly. Usually it takes that clear sky and then you notice the extra haze out there. Either way, here's a look at our overall picture and what we're anticipating. A lot of activity, eastern third of the country, and some action over the mountains in the Four Corners. What we're watching is this upper level swirl. That's our next system, that upper level low that's going to head our way, and it's going to help throw some energy toward us along with a little surface boundary dipping southward. In turn, we have a small window of opportunity for a few showers and thunderstorms Thursday and Friday. Definitely not a slam dunk situation. We're thinking most of it will be to the north of us in parts of North Texas, Junction to Austin and points northward. But we could still tap into some of that activity and even the potential for a strong to severe storm Thursday, late Thursday, and maybe even into Friday morning. So a 40% chance on Thursday, and then Friday we're at a 30% chance. Even then, I still think we'll have a lot of little light sprinkles and showers in the mornings both of those days, especially Thursday. It's going to be one of those damp mornings that we've become very accustomed to over the weeks past, and even Friday, some of those small streamer showers in the morning. Right now we're 92, but here's the key, dew point of 56. Humidity fell off nicely this afternoon as the drier air above us mixed it down, and we're going to have the same thing tomorrow. We'll have some humidity in the air again in the morning, but notice as we get into the afternoon, those dew points get cut from the 60s down into the 50s. So we'll be in the 90s again, 92 the high temperature in San Antonio after a morning low of 66, making it up to 92, 98 Cotulla and Del Rio, but at least the humidity won't be oppressive and it won't be adding to the feels like temperature at all later on in the day. That small window of opportunity for storms. Otherwise, we're looking at a very sunny and warm 7-day forecast.
All right. Thank you very much, Adam.
So, you know, the Antonian softball team has a lot to be proud of. I know it was a letdown, but
yes, it was an incredible season for the Apaches. They have made themselves a mainstay on the championship stage this afternoon. They take that big stage. We'll break down how they performed coming up. Plus, the San Antonio Missions take a trip to SeaWorld. See how they had all the fun they had with the dolphins coming up right after the break.
From the year 2000 to 2014, the NFL averaged 17,000-yard rushes a year, 17. And since then, it's been 11. So it's gradually gone down. It's become more of a by committee type league.
OTAs are nearing, and the Dallas Cowboys plan to deploy a running back by committee approach with so much depth and no undisputed front runner at the position. All eyes on Ezekiel Elliott as he begins his second stint with the team. Now this afternoon, the Antonian softball team put up 10 runs, but eventually fell short in a high-scoring TAP 6A Division I championship matchup against St. Agnes out of Houston. This was Antonian's 4th straight appearance in the state tournament, and they're the state runner-up for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Now that we know the San Antonio Spurs will pick 4th and 8th in the 2024 NBA draft, we can better envision who could help the Spurs as they aim to address some key issues through the draft. One glaring area of need is at the point guard position. Someone who's a strong ball handler, makes plays, willing to get 7'4" Rookie of the Year Victor Wembanyama the ball while being a high-level scorer. One prospect who has been linked to the Spurs is Kentucky point guard Rob Dillingham. Dillingham is expected to be a high pick in this year's draft that features a low percentage of guards. And here he is at day 1 of the Combine.
Have you talked to the Spurs yet, and what do you think about, how you would fit with them and, of course, Wemby?
I haven't talked to them yet, but from a standpoint of just looking at it, I feel like I would be a good fit for them. I feel like I uplift my teammates. I bring confidence to the team, whether it's like in the game, before the game. I try to always boost my guys. And then playmaking, I feel like I'm a great playmaker, scorer, shooter, knockdown shooter. My defense lacks in time, but I feel like when I actually give effort and I know the game plan, then I really know what to do.
So this morning, the Missions baseball team stepped away from the diamond in the middle of their season to get in the water with some bottlenose dolphins at SeaWorld San Antonio. The players fed the dolphins, asked the aquatic mammals to perform behaviors, as well as gained insight on how the staff cares for the dolphins and SeaWorld's rescue efforts. It was all fun and smiles beforehand was the challenging part, though. The SeaWorld staff had to find wetsuits fit for the Padres prospects.
They put on wetsuits, which it's hard to find wetsuits for guys that big, but we got them. We got them in the water, and they had the opportunity to meet some bottlenose dolphins. They learned how we care for them. They learned about our rescue efforts, and of course, they just had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a blast. Those things are a lot bigger than I thought. Trainers did a great job. I think we all enjoyed it. I think the respect that the animals have for the trainers and the respect that the trainers have for the animals, I think that was really cool. Seeing them interact and seeing how well trained they are and responding to commands, I think that was really cool. I'd like to ask more questions about how they respond to that and how they learn those things. But it was a really cool learning opportunity.
The Missions do a great job getting out in the community. Now they're swimming with dolphins.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
I love it.
Thank you.
Cool, Mary. Thanks. Coming up next, KSAT explains how our South Texas geography plays a role in the weather we see where you live. Next.
Welcome back. So South Texas can certainly see some wild weather in the spring, and the geography in our region has an impact on the kind of weather that we get.
So for this KSAT Explains, we tapped meteorologist Justin Horn, who is really into maps, both by profession and passion. He breaks out his compass and Rand McNally and does a little myth busting too.
Can you tell me what this is? What is that a shape of? I'll give you a hint. It's a county.
Is it Bexar County?
It is Bexar County.
Is it a state or are we looking at a county?
It's a county.
Yeah, see.
Makes it more difficult, right?
It does make it more difficult.
Can you tell me where Bexar County is?
Okay. Because San Antonio is it's over here-ish.
Okay. Okay. Here? Very close. Could you show me where the Edwards Plateau is?
Edwards Plateau. I believe the Edwards Plateau is right up in here. Or no. I'm sorry. So Kerrville area, correct?
That's right. You nailed it. Yeah, you got it. Second try. That's perfect. All right. Can you show me where Frio County is on this map?
No, I cannot.
Can you show me on this map where Frio County is?
So,
if I were to ask you where the Texas Hill Country is, could you show me here on the map?
Like, let's see, like over here.
Yeah.
That's where our
Yeah, that's right. So not everyone knows geography as well as us meteorologists do, and that's okay. We're kind of weird like that. True story, when I was a kid, I read the entire atlas and once memorized every country and its capital. But for those of you who don't have that much time on your hands, we thought we'd touch on some of the more important geographical and geological features that South Texas has to offer. And the feature we thought we'd start with is the most important of all, the Balcones Escarpment. The escarpment, or at least the edge of the escarpment, which I'm standing on now here at Government Canyon State Natural Area, is part of a fault zone that runs through northwestern Bexar County. It more or less splits our viewing area in half. To the north, we have the higher elevation in the hill country. To the south, we have the coastal plains. And this feature really explains a lot about why South Texas is the way it is.
So this is a major uplift that happened about 25 to 24 million years ago, where we actually had a big chunk of central Texas lifted up about 1,500 feet.
The boundary of the escarpment is U-shaped, featuring porous limestone formed by an ancient ocean. It's a boundary that helped create the aquifer and subsequently prolific springs.
Without the springs, you would not have San Antonio.
See, I told you the escarpment was important. The sudden rise in elevation around 1,500 feet in Bexar County alone also makes a difference when it comes to weather. We'll discuss that in a bit. But it's also why the hill country exists. Speaking of, what is the hill country? And how is it different from the Edwards Plateau that you hear us mention so often in weather?
The hill country is just part of the Edwards Plateau. It's sort of the eastern edge of that plateau. And it really encompasses that edge plus the Balcones Escarpment coming down into San Antonio.
Which brings us to I-35. It's a major, important interstate. Notice how it seems to line up with the edge of the Balcones Escarpment.
The I-35 corridor is actually just on the eastern side of the Edwards Plateau. So instead of building up and over the plateau, they just went around it.
That, and going back to the importance of those springs along the escarpment, major cities formed right along its edge, where the water was, and the interstate connects them. And since I-35 serves as a visual boundary of the edge of the escarpment, we often use it in weather to feature our different climate zones. You'll hear us say things like, those east of I-35 have the best chances for storms. Along those same lines, Highway 90, which runs west to east, is useful too. This geography puts us at a unique crossroads.
San Antonio is at the point of three different major ecoregions. The South Texas thornbush, which basically starts in San Antonio and goes south to the valley.
That's more or less an extension of the Chihuahuan Desert, which creeps in from the west. Think hot and dry.
And then we have the hill country, which goes from west of town towards Kerrville, Sonora.
It's the elevated portion of our viewing area we mentioned earlier.
And then we have the plains, the central prairie.
That's the flatter part of south central Texas, closest to the coast. It features higher humidity, more rain, and more vegetation.
So you drive any direction and you've got a different scene.
So with all that in mind, let's do some myth busting, fact or fiction, when it comes to geography and what it means for our weather. Yes, clouds do bank up against the escarpment, occasionally making it cloudy in San Antonio, but sunny in the hill country. It can also sometimes help to develop showers. No, there's not a dome over San Antonio. Any sort of heat island effect has no bearing on storms moving through or avoiding the city, despite recent claims. Yes, those east of I-35 often have better chances of rain because they're closer to the Gulf of Mexico and therefore have better, deeper moisture. No, valleys and terrain have little to no impact on tornadoes. They develop and move as they please. Yes, the Serranías del Burro Mountains west of Del Rio in Mexico do have an effect on our weather, mostly when it comes to helping give lift to big storms in the summer that cross into Texas. No, there's no one favorite area in San Antonio that gets hail over the other. However, yes, geography does play a role in winter weather, with northern Bexar County, especially north of 1604, having a much better shot at seeing wintry weather than those in southern Bexar County. And this is why being a meteorologist in South Texas is so fun. Lastly, let's talk about counties. These boundaries are more political than they are geographical, but useful when we're describing where a thunderstorm is located. It's always a good idea to know where your county is located on a map. We use them a lot in weather, especially when it comes to warnings.
And that's South Texas geography in a nutshell. And it's why reading an atlas isn't quite as boring as you might think. For KSAT Explains, I'm meteorologist Justin Horn.
I'm just sad we
Love
didn't have
that.
a picture of little Justin reading.
Right?
reading
Well,
his
I thought that was him with the magnifying glass.
Yes. What do you want to see us explain? Scan this QR code to go straight to the KSAT Explains page, where you can find all of our coverage and a place to send in your own ideas. We'll be right back.
The spring season often means wet and warm weather, and you know what that brings? Ticks.
Yeah, those pests have been known to carry a variety of diseases. So 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz looked into how to keep ticks from coming into your backyard.
Your yard should be your sanctuary or playground, not ticks. Not all ticks carry the same diseases, but dangerous ticks can be found in most states, including Texas. The trick to stopping ticks, Consumer Report says make sure your yard is less welcoming, trim tall weeds, and keep the lawn in check.
Ordinarily, Consumer Reports advises letting your grass grow a little bit on the long side, but if you have ticks in your area, it's not a bad idea to cut it down to 2 or 2.5 inches high.
If you still have leaf piles, get rid of them. Clear out the gutters, too, and pay attention to the trees.
Ticks really love the shade, so if you have trees with low-hanging branches, it's not a bad idea to clip them off at about 18 inches from the ground.
He also suggests protecting your house with mulch.
Ticks really prefer densely wooded areas over open grass, so running a border of mulch around your property creates one more physical barrier for them.
He says use wood chips, bark, or even gravel, but not the shredded mulch because that creates the damp areas that ticks like. And always do a tick check on your family if you're out in a woodsy area. And remember to use a repellent. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Just another thing you don't want to worry about, ticks.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I've already started to notice mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah. That's, especially when you get rain. It's that time of year. And flies in the kitchen.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So annoying.
Fly season. We're there. What's your secret cocktail to catch the flies? Right? You take the number 4 cone filter, right? Put it in a cup and your concoction at the bottom. Get them in there. Anyway, also, one benefit of opossums, I know they may look a little nasty and freaky, but they eat ticks.
Oh, okay.
Good to know.
There we go. There you have it. So they do have a good benefit out there at night, our nocturnal critters. We have some weather to talk about, a window of opportunity for showers and storms, and how much rain and where is going to be taken into account for the next drought monitor in a bit.
Tonight, San Antonio police are investigating after officers say 5 children were found hungry and filthy inside of a home. A neighbor called police and told them the children were left to fend for themselves. SAPD arrested their uncle, 52-year-old Shad Modised. The mother of some of the children says she'd only been gone a few hours, but a police report says it appeared the children had not bathed or eaten in days.
A third person with ties to Congressman Henry Cuellar's bribery case has pleaded guilty. The unsealed plea agreement states that Irada Akundova pleaded guilty to unlawfully acting as an agent of the Azerbaijani government and a state-run oil company. Now, according to that plea agreement, she admitted to facilitating a $60,000 payment to Cuellar's wife, Imelda.
More construction along I-10 starting today. The upper level of westbound I-10 near downtown will be down to 1 lane. The lane closure stretches from West Poplar Street to Fulton Avenue. TxDOT says this closure will remain in place until the end of the month. And that's your 60-second recap.
Well, right now it's Tuesday, 92 degrees. Let's talk about the rest of the week.
The rest of the week, it's going to be a little mixture of things. And then this weekend, we crank up the sunshine and temperatures a little bit. I want to talk about our drought monitor and the recent rainfall that we had, which will be taken into account for the updated drought monitor that'll be issued on Thursday. So here's the latest one out there. And we still have our extreme and severe drought just north and west of San Antonio and even out toward Del Rio. We're going to isolate just that area and focus on it and even outline it here for you. So that's the area we're going to focus on of the severe and extreme drought, and then put on top of it the recent rainfall that we just picked up. And no, it's not enough to be a drought buster, but a bit of a drought denter, sure, especially between Uvalde and La Pryor eastward, basically along and south of Highway 90 there, just west of 281, where we had 2 to 4 inches of rain estimated by Doppler radar. I think it'll have a bit of an impact, maybe put a little bit of a dent in the drought in this little area, but overall, we still haven't gotten the big rains that we need to really wipe away that drought. Rain chances going forward, not ideal. We're at 30 to 40% Thursday and even into Friday. It's not a slam dunk situation, but conditions will be changing and will become more favorable for the development of some of those showers and storms. Widespread rain activity from basically Missouri eastward through parts of the East Coast, and then in the Four Corners, some of that afternoon pop-up action. We're watching this upper level swirl, that counterclockwise swirl. That's the next system that's going to be moving into town. And it's not going to be a big, hard-hitting upper level low that gives us great energy, but it will give us a bit of a push. It's not going to be ideally oriented to us in order to give us that real guaranteed rain, but it's at least going to add to the ingredients and give us a little something along with a weak surface boundary that'll be pushing southward. And there's still some uncertainty on the timing of that surface boundary, which will play a role in those rain and storm chances. So we will be fine-tuning the forecast and really honing in on a more specific time frame over the next day or so. There is a threat for severe thunderstorms, no surprise, especially this time of year. If you can pop some storms, typically we have enough instability, enough shear in the atmosphere to generate some localized hail and high wind gusts. And that main threat is San Antonio and northward, even stretching to Gonzales and northward. That's a 2 out of 5. On a scale of 1 to 5, that's a 2 out of 5, where 5 is obviously the highest odds. Anyway, here's our almanac today. Clouds just trying to pop up. There they are on the left-hand side of the screen. 94 was our high temperature with an average of 86. 101 right now in Del Rio. Laredo at 100 degrees. Midland at 92. For the most part, we're in the lower 90s. Obviously, just a couple of exceptions. Canyon Lake 1 at 88. And as we go through the evening, clear sky, light southeasterly breeze kicking in. 79 at 10 o'clock. By midnight, we're at 75. At 7 a.m., we're at 66. Tomorrow at noon, we're 87. And then 92, the high temperature. That's here in town. Will generally be in the low 90s. 93 Pleasanton, but Uvalde up to 95. And this weekend, approaching 97 by Sunday.
Getting too close.
Gonna feel that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
100.
We'll be right back with the buzz up next.
In the buzz today, 2 skydivers did something that's never been done before, fly through London's famous Tower Bridge. The feat only took about 45 seconds, but getting to this point was nearly 2 years in the making.
Yes, so they go over this. The Austrian freefall skydiving duo spent about a year training that included flying between 2 cranes set up to match the dimensions of that Tower Bridge. So they practiced the jump about 200 times to figure out the best height for the drop.
Yeah.
And they made it.
A Chicago police officer is bouncing back after a successful double lung transplant. 56-year-old Arthur Art Gillespie worked in law enforcement for nearly 3 decades, most recently as the captain with the University of Chicago Police Department. But then Gillespie suffered a severe case of COVID and a lung cancer diagnosis all around the same time.
Yeah, that was back in 2020. He went through chemotherapy. He had 2/3 of his right lung removed. That wasn't enough. Doctors say that they couldn't do anything else for him. So then he turned to specialists at Northwestern Medicine. And in January, Gillespie received his new lungs at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. And we're very happy to tell you that he continues to recover.
Yes, that is awesome. Good news indeed. The latest list of top U.S. baby names issued by the Social Security Administration has a few surprises. There's only one new entry in the top 10 names for boys and girls. Mateo jumped from number 11 to number 6 in 2023. The editor-in-chief of the baby name website Nameberry says it appears to be the first identifiably Latino name on the boys' side.
Because of Encanto. That's my theory. Anyway, Kaylee was the fastest rising name for girls last year. The Nameberry editor says that social media may have also fueled the growing popularity of the second fastest rising name for girls in 2023, and that's Alitzel. We'll be right back.
I haven't heard that one.
Me either.
A generally sunny and warm forecast, well into the 90s, with the exception of Thursday, Friday. We'll have more clouds, a little shift in our pattern, and that could kickstart some widely separated showers and storms Thursday and even into early Friday, watching out for the chance of severe storms.
All right. Thank you, Adam. And thank you for watching the news at 6.
And we'll see you right back here on the Night Beat. Have a nice dinner break.